You know, I was watching, there's a really funny guy on TikTok. I've just come off TikTok because it stopped working for me. He's called Connor Shadshi or something. He's Northern Irish, and he really reminds me of, like Ryan, who I used to date, and his crowd, and they're all very, very funny. He's like the spitting image in terms of his jokes. And some of his jokes even are like an impression of me. I don't know where to take it. It's really funny. It's just really funny. He's scared now. And but one of the things was about a no kids wedding, which is fine. They have them. And I remember I went to a really incredible wedding in South Africa, actually. And Nicole and Karsh's wedding, and they had a lead up of a I don't know, like a tour around South Africa, and we didn't go to that bit. Persia was very young, and we left Persia with my parents, and my parents loved looking after Persia. Literally, they'd spend all week, because we'd go every weekend, and we'd stay there, and there were a couple of weeks when she was young at different times where we went away, and basically my parents encouraged it as well. They would just feed her loads of food. They would cuddle her. Obviously she slept clinging onto my mum. She'd look like a ball, a squishy ball, when they handed her back. She was so cute. Most of the time she would sleep. She'd be in this kind of, I don't have to do anything. I'm just going to be attached to my granny. And anyway, so she had a couple of these weeks, and most weekends she would be with my parents. But we'd be there in Bromley as well. And we'd all be like, clinging on to my mum and dad, actually, and they'd just feed us, and we would watch box sets and things like that, and Persia would be milling around, but mainly my parents would just grab hold of her and not let go. And in that time, though, basically, I don't know, but she learned maths by the age of 14 months. When I say she learned maths, so she couldn't add up, but she knew the order of numbers up to 10. She could add up 1 and 1, actually. She could understand that if you added another thing, it would go up to the next number. She could do that. Certainly she could do that. She knew up to 10. She knew the alphabet, of course, as well. My parents and I, and Julian taught her that. And what else did she do? Well, my parents, when she was a year old, my parents bought her an electric car, okay, like a little pink Mini. And we're like, it's a bit young. And my dad's like, it's for her to get used to it. And he'd sit her in the car and he'd give her a phone. He'd give her a gadget, and she would like bang the phone on the side of the car. It's like South London driving. And completely, she must have picked it up from her dad. And then by the time she was probably about 18 months, she was driving that car. She was so cheeky. She did the opposite of everything we asked her to. She's like, I can drive the car. Why are you telling me to go right? I'm going to go left. I'm not going to do what you say. I can do what I want. She's so cheeky. And my parents taught her that. They bought her a car, an electric car at age 1. She's a freak genius, my daughter. And she could drive it by 18 months. She was driving around the cul-de-sac. I have videos of that. Did your parents do that? Did your parents look after your children so often and taught them stuff and made them really, really fat and made them sleep all the time and think that they were in a dream world, but at the same time taught them the, counting and the alphabet by the age of 14 months, 18 months, or 14 months, and then taught them to drive. A little girl. She was probably the youngest brown female driver ever in the history of the world, driving her little Mini. Certainly Muslim women. My parents were like that. My parents were kind of, yeah. There is no biological age in our family. Do people understand? Yeah, when did you learn to drive? 18 months. It's true! How can it, though? How can it be true? It's true. No, it is. It's AI. No, actually, it's true. That's basically, yeah, she's like, when those times when we didn't take Persia along to things, and also we didn't want to take a little baby to Africa. God, she'd probably get kidnapped or get some horrible disease. Jesus Christ. We actually waited a long time before going to Africa, before taking her to Africa, because we didn't want to give her the malarial tablets or whatever. We look at the data, look at the published data. Which kind of irresponsible person would take their kid, their baby, from the UK to Africa? Who would do that? You'd do it the other way around, wouldn't you? You would, if you had a child, if you had the option, you'd have your child in the UK and bring them up there until they were old enough, because of the hospital system and things like that. Literally, you do that. Look at the statistics look at the mortality rates, even of white babies. I mean, I'm brown anyway, and so is my daughter. Look at the hospital statistics of what happens to brown babies, non-white babies in South Africa. In South Africa, where would they be safer? With their grandparents, one being a doctor, the other one, being a practice manager, who absolutely doted on Persia, completely, obviously, trustworthy, and lived for looking after Persia. Would you do that? Or would you, I guess a lot of people don't like to leave their kids with their parents. Well, I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry about that. You must have had a terrible upbringing. That's all I can say. Yeah, you don't need to give any advice.